Okay, apologies everybody. We're just going through some technical issues with regards to broadcasts. So we're just trying to resolve that at this moment in time. So please bear with us. We will be going into Q2 very shortly, and then we'll get things running. Not the normal procedure, I do appreciate. So just bear with us, and we will be with you very shortly. Okay, everybody, sorry about that slight delay there in commentary and hearing my wonderful voice, you poor people. So, as I said, Q1, we will be finishing very shortly. Reason why we haven't really set any times or anything going is because we had penalties to apply to two drivers. Savage and Slacky, because they needed to be starting at the back of the grid. In order to ensure that they start at the back of the grid, what we had to do was get them to disqualify themselves in Q1, which would then allow the remaining 13 drivers to go through to Q2, battle it out for the places there. And then obviously we'll go to Q3 with the top 10 drivers to establish grid positions for the start, or the final grid positions for the start of the race. So as I was saying, Hungaroring, this is F1 Tonight 2017 Season 3 Race 11 Hungaroring. And this is going to be a tricky race. It is quite a challenging track, and certainly overtaking is extremely difficult. There are opportunities. We have two DRS zones which pretty much follow each other. So what happens is DRS detection is as they're approaching turn 14, turn 14 being the last turn before getting into the start finish straight, and they have DRS active down the start finish straight, down to turn 1 where it disengages, which is the almost the not quite but almost a hairpin bend of turn 1, and the second DRS point is then as they're coming out of turn 1 and approaching turn 2, which is a left-hander taking them downhill. So those are the two DRS points. Those are the two real opportunities they may have for overtaking, other than obviously anyone making an error on the track. So we've got about another minute or so to run through. So what I'm going to quickly do is just give you previous races and winners. So we started off in Australia, and that was quite an interesting race. We had Buddha for Renault, who came in first place for that one. He also got the driver of the day, and I think the best time was actually set by John in the Haas. Second race was China. That was won by Bass for Ferrari. Third race was Bahrain, and that was Bass for Ferrari again. Russia was Bo for Ferrari. Spain, race 5, was Bo for Ferrari again. Monaco, great result there for Stoner in the Haas. And Canada, again, we went back to Ferrari with Bass coming in first. Azerbaijan, Bass. And we then had Austria, that was Bo. And last week Silverstone was Bass. So we're just coming out of Q1 now, going into Q2. And as we go through into Q2, I'll just go through the drivers and teams. and then we'll see some interesting times set out. Generally, what we tend to find is sometimes the fastest lap for the qualifying sessions is set during Q2. Although that said, that hasn't been the case in the previous 2 races, just to completely contradict what I just said. So last week in Silverstone we saw the fastest time being set in Q3, and in Azerbaijan as well, same thing. So we have Savage for McLaren, Bass for Ferrari, John for Haas, Anganiki for Force India, Gamble for McLaren, Slim Shady for Williams, Peter for Williams, Stoner for Haas. Okay, so we've got soft tyres here, so let's just check what we're going on. So currently 50. Everyone's going on super soft apart from Bass and John, interestingly enough. So let's go with, I think, our first outlap, which is Martin in the Toro Rosso. Martin's really been putting in a great show this season. Great show for Toro Rosso. Currently he is in 8th place in the Drivers' Championship, so great result for him. So we're not going to be obviously seeing some super fast times initially, because obviously the drivers will be getting their tyres warmed up and climbing themselves to the track also. Please bear in mind, obviously this is esports, however we and the codemasters who obviously wrote the software and the game do really work very well in ensuring to maintain that the same sort of issues that can occur in real world F1 are mimicked effectively in the game as well. So we have heat, we have ooh, yes, a nice turn there. Oh, we have flat spots on tyres, dirt that can get onto tyres, etc. So it makes it quite interesting on there. So we see Martin now going through for his timed lap. So cool. Yep, that sounds great to me. So here we have Martin now, just approaching the S-bends at the back of the track there. Yep, he needed to be. So Slacky has disqualified himself, so he needed to be at the back of the grid there. So no time set as yet. So obviously went off the track there. So let's just watch them as they're coming round now. So Martin has now set the time. First driver out of 1:20.1. So good time there. Let's see who else. Let's see Bass in the Ferrari, I think, on the softs. Let's see what we can get on the comparison. It's just coming round now. It's turn 12. So Anganiki, oh dear, Anganiki hit the barrier there on the start-finish straight. Obviously coming round that turn 14, put a little bit too much power down. You can see the dirt on his tyres there and went straight into the barrier. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Hopefully they can get him cleared. Yes, he is cleared already from the track, so that's fantastic. We wouldn't see an interruption to qualification. We've just seen Gamble now set the fastest, 1:19.6 in the McLaren. Watching Buddha in the Renault now coming around the start-finish straight. And Buddha's just set the second fastest time with a 1:19.73. Bass is currently third with a 1:19.77. Martin's dropped down to fourth with his 1:20. Elfrance in the Force India 1:20.5. Slim Shady in the Williams is a 1:21.0. So John, Peter still in the pits. Stoner is out at this moment in time. See, is he setting his time? Oh, we can see the damage there from the Force India. So that was actually, I don't know what happened there. I'm not too sure whether, because that was actually at the end of the start-finish straight as he's approaching turn 1. So not too sure how he managed to lose it on the straight there. Oh, okay. So what happened was he's come onto the start-finish straight. He's on the left-hand side of the track. Unfortunately, he stayed in the grass a bit too long as he was coming out of onto the straight into the DRS zone, and spun out the car at the end of the start-finish straight because he went onto the grass and obviously picked up some dirt which affected his traction there. So unfortunate situation, not very pleasant, but hopefully we should see him in the race. It will obviously mean that well, he did set a time at least, so at least he has the opportunity to possibly stay there. He is currently in 10th place, but we are watching Stoner now as he's coming around turn 13, approaching turn 14 for the start-finish straight. And let's see what Stoner does there. Oh, Stoner set the fastest time at 1:18.5. Fantastic reply there from Stoner. Great job there from the Haas team. And I was just saying earlier, you know, these guys are really coming through the field, Haas. Both Stoner and John really been putting up some great fights over the recent races, and I think they're getting a little bit more familiar with their cars and their capability. So great result from them. So John is still in the pit, his teammate. Oh dear, we've got Portmer, and Portmer has looks like he's crashed out. Looks like turn 5. Not too sure on there. I'll need to check that out. So Portmer's gone out. So again, so Stoner is still with the fastest time of a 1:18.5. Bass is currently on the soft, so I would suspect he's looking to get a little bit of wear in on those softs. He's quite happy with that time. He's not coming out. He's in the pits at the moment. So I think that could be a bit of strategy coming in from Bass. John's still in the pit. Let's watch Peter now in the Williams. He needs to set 1:22 or better. He hasn't done it yet. So it looks to me like he's probably on his lap now, on his timed lap. What about Phenomenon? So Phenomenon's coming around the back, and it was on turn 5 that we did see Portmer go out, because we're just seeing Phenomenon going through 6 and 7 there. Tricky, oh, slightly off the track there. Let's hope he didn't pick up too much dirt. As he comes down now to this turn 11. And this is the tricky turn here. You've got to get it right. So through 13 now, on to the last corner before the start-finish straight. So Phenomenon needs to set under 1:22.1. And he does, 1:19.8. So great result there for Phenomenon. That puts him into 5th in the current standings. So great result for him. Now this has now pushed Anganicki into 10th place. Port now stands 11. Let's see John now as he's approaching. Now Johnny's running on the softs, so he hasn't set a time as yet, so he's just going around. Now let's watch Peter. I think his time will be set now. Yes, and Peter set to 1:22.18, so unfortunately not quite fast enough. And what he really needs to be aiming for now, he needs to take a couple of seconds off that, which I think could well be a challenge. Let's see what happens. Yep. Let's ride with John now. So we see John now approaching turn 6. So that's a little chicane, tricky little chicane there at the back of the track. And then takes you around to a nice little left hand, right hand turn with another left hand. And then we see the Mercedes pulling over to give him the opportunity. So he is on his fast lap there. So just coming down now turn 12, so he's now coming up to last but one turn. So it can be tricky this turn. Got to get the power right as you come through. So last turn onto the start finish straight. Let's see how John does. What time are we going to be looking at here? And John doesn't make it. He's got a 120.55. Anger Nicky set a 120.54. So he's got 4.5 minutes to go. So he's got the opportunity to try and improve on that. So at this moment in time, these are the guys really that need to fight through, is both John and Peter, because they're the only ones that are still out and have the opportunity to better their times. So we're just watching Peter now as he's coming down at turn 3. And this is, as they're approaching now, turn 4. This is the one that I say has got to be tricky because it's totally blind when you're approaching that corner. You cannot see. You're going uphill, so you really have to judge it just right to hit the sweet spot for that turn. Generally, you're going to be in 5th gear going round there, so you're going to be looking at about 148 kilometers an hour. And looking at my chart here, sorry, 209 miles an hour, 209 kilometers an hour. So John is pitting. He's going to look to make a quick change, give him the opportunity to get out because he certainly needs to better that time. Still riding with Peter here in the Williams. He's coming to the last but one corner. So coming around there, taking it nice and easy. And John's gone on to the soft, so I think this could be a strategy call. He obviously is confident that he can set a better time. And Peter's coming into the pits as well. So we still have John in the pits and Peter in the pits. If they're going to be coming out, they need to get a move on. We will see what happens. Are they happy with those positions? At this moment in time, we've got Stoner with the fastest time with a 118.5. Closest is Gamble, or seconds effectively, with a 119.6. Then we have Buddha for Renault with a 119.7. Bass for Ferrari with 119.7. Phenomenon, fantastic race there. And we're finding that Phenomenon does very well on the qualifications. He just needs to follow that through to the races themselves. So could be. I'm just seeing here whether Buddha's greyed out, so I think he's just ended the session because he's happy to end the session with that time. So I would suggest that Buddha and Bass there, when they grey out, have just ended the session because they're happy with their times. So we've got John's now gone on to these out laps, so he's going to be looking to improve. He is on the super softs. I did think it was a bit strange that he went onto the softs there, but still, he was obviously trying to see whether he could do it. So this is his out lap. Now, as we know, he did set a 120.5, but he needs to make it a better 120.5. Anger Nicky is currently in 10th place with 120.542. So ideally, what John really needs to aim for is certainly around about the 120 mark, I would say. And it looks like he's got... Who's he got behind him? He had somebody behind him there. I think it might have been the Force India. Yeah, it is. It's the Force India, Air France. So I would suggest that Air France is probably going to be looking... I don't know whether he's staying out to just try and see if he can react to, or he's worried that John might set a faster time, so he's going to try and see if he can actually outwit him and ensure his place, because obviously Elfrans is currently in 9th place, and that would suggest to me that's what Elfrans possibly looking to do. So here's the opportunity now. This is the one that's going to count, so John really needs to ensure that he puts in the best lap he possibly can. There we are, turn 4. He takes that nicely. Coming around as a tricky little turn as he comes up here. It's going uphill, and then you approach that chicane. Middle of nowhere, turn 6. Takes it nicely through there. Not too wide there. That's okay. This is the turn that he needs to ensure he's going flat out, and I'm not sure whether he was on that one, so I think he's lost time there. So last but one turn now. So here we come round now. Let's see. Nice position there. Coming round here. Let's see what this Haas can do. Yes, fantastic. 119.4. So he actually took off just 1.1 seconds off his previous best lap. So great result there from John. That has now... Elfrans is pitted. He's happy. He's safe with his 10th place. So going out, we're going to see Angernicki for Force India. Peter F1 for Williams. And Portmer for McLaren. Savage and Slacky obviously disqualified to ensure that they come at the end of the start-finish straight, because they've got penalties there. So that's the end of Q2. So provisionally, at this moment in time, we have Stoner in the Haas in first place. His teammate John in the second Haas in second place. Third place we have McLaren Gamble. Fourth place we have Buddha Renault. And fifth place we have the Ferrari of Bass. Well, obviously not where we would expect Bass normally to be, but let me say this, he is running on the soft tyres for this queue, so he's got a good second plus that he could get out possibly of the super soft tyres. So I think he's playing a strategy game there. Phenomenon, great result there from Phenomenon in the Sauber, 119.8. So that put him in the provisional 6th place, or put him in 6th place certainly for Q2. Then we have Mike Ebb in the Mercedes in 7th place with a 119.9. Martin BMW for Toro Rosso, great result for him as well, 120.0. Slim Shamy in Williams, 120.3. And Elfrans with a 120.5. So Q3, that's who we're going to go for. Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. As my colleague here is saying, unfortunately you can't hear him, but I think we pretty much agree that we think Bass is playing a bit of a strategy game there. If he's confident that he can be in those top 10, what he's looking to do is save tyres for the race, but also possibly get a little bit of wear into those softs as well, so that they're already run in potentially for race requirement if he needs to. So it would suggest to me actually that we might be looking at a 2-stint super soft race from Bass, because we know Bass can take the super softs to the extreme at times. So it wouldn't surprise me. I've seen him do 30 laps on a set of super softs, 30 plus. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's possibly looking at that, and he's got the softs worn in as a backup. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. So Bass is almost straight out. Elfrans was actually ahead of him, I think. Oh no, it's actually Martin who's first out of the pits. Elfrans did a great job there, obviously, and unfortunately he did, remember that was early on in the qualification that he set that time, because he did actually go into the barrier and wasn't able to participate in the rest of Q2. So he's time very early on, so there's every opportunity he can even go faster than that. So it's going to certainly make it interesting. It'd be great to see the Force India up there with everybody else as well, so that'd be great to see. So we're riding with Martin in the Toro Rosso. He's on his outlap at this moment in time, just going through turn 6 there at the back of the grid. He's closely followed by Bass, you can see in the background. So here he comes now, just getting those tyres warmed up. As I say, it's only his outlap, so obviously he's not setting any time on this. He's just making sure that he's got the heat in those tyres for when he actually comes around. So he's coming around to turn 13 now. You can see Bass behind him, and it looks like Mercedes behind there, so that would be Mykeb. So he's now starting on his timed lap. We can see Bass in the background there as well. Now what I haven't done is put the tyres. Sorry about that, people. So everyone's running on the super softs. You can see Martin's really putting great time down. I don't think Bass is actually going for it. I think he's letting Martin. You can see Bass in the background there. Turn 4, nicely taken there. So that is the trickiest corner of the track, other than turn 1. This little chicane here, turn 6 at the back there. You can just see Bass in the background of the Toro Rosso. I do actually believe though Toro Rosso is going faster, so I'm not too sure whether Bass is actually looking to set a time or not, or whether he backed off. So here we come now. Oh, nice little turn in there. Straighten it up. Turn 13. So here we are. First time to be set. And he sets a 119.9. Bass following behind a 118.6. So there we have it, 118.6 set by Bass. Remember that the fastest in Q2 set by Stoner was a 118.5. So as I said, we expected Bass to take about a good second or so off, and Stoner's just come now and set a 118.6 to 8. So he's actually 0.06 of a second faster than Bass. So great result from him. We've got Mykeb there in the Mercedes, just set a 119. John just set a 119.8. Gamble's just set a 119.3, got into 3rd place. But 6 at this moment in time with 119.9. Martin dropped down to 7th with that 119.9. Elfred's in the Force India 120.1. So he has certainly bettered his time from Q2. Then we have got Phenomenon 120.4 and Slim 121.0 at this moment in time. So we're riding with Stoner. Let's see if he's, I think he is looking to set a fast time on this. So he's obviously gone back to back on his laps here. Oh, and fantastic. Bo just set a 118.3. So he's taken 0.2 of a second off the fastest time in Q2 of Stoner's, which was a 118.5. So Stoner, is he going to reply to this? No, he's coming into the pits. We have Mykeb out now. He hasn't bettered his time, still on that 119.1. Riding with Gamble in the McLaren. He's just approaching. Absolutely. And Gamble betters his time there. He does a 118.6. And oh, Mykeb there. Oh, he's taking it easy. I think he's had an issue because he's greyed out. Oh, he's obviously messing around with his settings at the moment. He's messing around with his settings. Oh, he's out of fuel. So he's out of fuel, unfortunately, Mykeb there. Tried to push it a little bit too much. There's Slim, I think, has got the same issue because he's just coasting around as well. He'll riding with Phenomenon now. And it's my commentator here, or well, you can't hear him unfortunately, but quite rightly pointing out that the likes of Phenomenon, Martin and Elfrens have really been doing some great improvement in this season 3. Phenomenon obviously new. Elfrans is also new to F1 tonight, so great to see those drivers coming through and improving on a weekly basis. It really does. It's great to see. And again, just being informed that Phenomenon is actually running with all assists off, so no traction control, brakes, etc. So looking pretty good at this moment in time. Obviously, Bass setting the standard there with a 118.3. Stoner is coming out, I think, again. Who we got? We've got Phenomenon. I think he's going to be coming in. We've got Slim coming out. Who we got coming out? Oh, there we are. We're riding with John. He's currently on his out lap. He's got his teammate Stoner behind him. Was that his teammate? Yes, it is. Ah, sorry. He's got his teammate Stoner ahead of him. So John is just riding behind Stoner. So Stoner, I think, is looking. Now he's quickly done a quick pit to fuel up. So let's see how Stoner does here. John taking it easy. So Bass is still he's out on his out lap as well. Gamble's come in. Mike Ebb's in. Everyone's in. John's on his out lap. We'll ride with Stoner because he's ahead of his teammate on his out lap. So let's see. So we've got a competition going here. Obviously Stoner, John looking to see if they can replicate their standings in Q2. So they're going to be pushing as much as possible to try and maintain that. Yeah. Very small gap between these guys, again being pointed out. It is, you know, between first place and last place we're only looking at 1.8 seconds gap, and in the top 5 we're only looking at a 1 second gap. So you know, these guys are, it's really close racing between these guys at this moment in time. So there's Bass, he's still got the 113.3. Stoner's on his fast lap. Let's see what he can do here. So he's just coming around the back of the track now, approaching turn 6. A little chicane there. Riding in there, really riding those curbs, so he's really pushing it now. He is pushing it. Let's watch him as he comes out of this turn now. Yeah. He is definitely going for it, so let's see what he does. This is going to be the moment of truth. Can he better that time by the Ferrari? Can he improve on 118.3? And he does a 117.7. Absolutely fantastic reply there from Hassan Stoner. Absolutely amazing. 117.7. That is absolutely brilliant. Then we have John. John, unfortunately, well, I think he was taking it easy, so he wasn't really looking to race. So Stoner 117.7, 5/100ths of a second faster than the Ferrari. So great result there. Let's see what Elfrans can do, if he can improve on this 120.1. Bring him a little bit high up the track, but great result. I mean, Force India, you know, at least in 10th place there. Doesn't improve on his time. But great show from Elfrans there, so good show from him. So there we have Bass. Bass still doesn't improve on his time, so he's going to be looking to put pedal to metal. He's not going to take that lightly. Gamble obviously coming in 3rd place here with a 118.6. We know that John can equal that. He has equaled that in the previous one, so he needs to get his SH1T together to get that done. We have Mike Ebbett and Mercedes. He's currently in 4th with a 119.1 as well. Hasn't improved on that time as yet. Oh, he's sliding. That car is sliding. But he is pushing it. You can see that he is pushing it. So let's stay with the Mercedes here, because he is certainly going for it. can see the slightly different line that he takes through those corners, because he's clearly got far less downforce than everyone else. So he's looking for that that speed factor. So 119.1. He does not better that time. So he's still in 4th place with 119.1. Phenomenal for Sauber. Great show for him. 5th place. So great show for Sauber there. Slim Shamy, 6th now for Williams. So good result for him. Buddha in 7th place, 119.5. He can improve on that, but he just doesn't seem to be getting it together in this queue. We've only got a few seconds left to run. And John, I think, has pretty much given up. I think John's just said, okay, I can't do it. I'm not going to bother now. So Martin, Toro Rosso coming round now into the start-finish straight. And queue is finished. Martin doesn't improve on his time there. So let's ride with Bass, because this is the critical one. Is he going for it? Let's have a look. Yes, he is. He's riding those curbs. He's going for it. So let's see. Can Bass reply to Stoner's amazing qualification time there? He's certainly going to try. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. He needs to take 0.05 of a second off his best time. And he doesn't do it. He does a 117.8. So great result there. He's only 1/10 of a second off. So great response, but he didn't make it. So Stoner holds 1st place on the grid. So he'll be... oh, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh no. What happened? Oh no. What has happened there? No, definitely not. Unfortunately, Bass was coming out of the turn 2, I think, coming up to turn 3. Sorry, out of turn 2, yeah, coming up to turn 3. Mercedes was ahead of him, just basically more or less stopped on the track, and Bass just went straight into the back of him there. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, at least qualification's over. So... oh, right. So, yeah, just been pointed out to me that actually the AI had control of his car. So it wasn't Bass that crashed into them as so much. It was more the AI that crashed into the back of the McLaren there. Sorry, the Mercedes. So that was an AI issue there. But clearly he was travelling at... speed, and Mykeb in the Mercedes was more or less stopped in the track. I think he was actually, I'm not too sure if he was actually stopped or not, or whether he was just going ultra slow, but that caused that incident. Shouldn't reflect obviously in the start of the race, because we are on qualification, so I don't think that will cause any issue for his start of race there. So here we have our top 10. Stoner for Haas takes pole position. 2nd place is Bass for Ferrari. 3rd is Gamble for McLaren. So great response there from Gamble. 4th is Mykeb for Mercedes. So we've got a mixed top 4 for the grid. We then have, amazingly and really well done there, Sauber Phenomena is in 5th place. So really great result there for Sauber. So those are our top 5. Stoner for Haas, Bass for Ferrari, Gamble for McLaren, Mykeb for Mercedes, and Phenomenon for Sauber. We then have 6th place is Slim for Williams, Buddha for Renault, John for Haas, Martin for Toro Rosso, and Alfrens for Force India. So we'll be going into the full race now. So once again, this is F1 Tonight 2017 Season 3 Race 11 Hungaroring. Tricky track, as I've said before. It's very challenging. Certainly overtaking can be very, very difficult on this track. There are some opportunities, obviously, with DRS zones on the start-finish straight and out of turn 1 approaching turn 2. And one of the areas that you could possibly see some interesting overtaking manoeuvres will be on turn 1. Because if you do a late brake on that, you do have the possibility for that. The other tricky one is turn 4. So that's as they're coming uphill. It's a left-hand turn, totally blind. So you really have to pick your spot to turn in. Generally, you're approaching that at very high speed, so 280 kilometers per hour, and then you're going into that turn and slowing, well, taking 80 kilometers or 70 kilometers off that, roughly about 200 to 210 kilometers per hour as you're going around turn 4. So you really do have to take that very, very carefully indeed. We then come around the back of the track, tricky little chicane through turns 6 and 7. And then as we approach, obviously, the final stint of the lap, we have turn 12, which is a right-hander, into turn 13, a hairpin, and then into 14. So here we are on the formation lap. So we've gone through our top 10. So there we are. John, Martin, Elfrans. 11th place, we have Angernicki for Force India. Peter, F1 in the Williams, is in 12th place. Portma for Mercedes is in 13th place, and Savage for McLaren's 14th, and Slacky for Renault 15th. They're carrying penalties from Silverstone, which unfortunately has meant that they're starting at the back of the grid. So that is certainly going to make it interesting, because they are both fast drivers. Savage, certainly, especially, he loves carving his way through the field in that McLaren. So don't expect those guys to be looking to stay there too long, but also bear in mind that this is a very difficult track to overtake on. So they are going to be looking to possibly take the sort of risks that they might not necessarily normally take, because they're keen to show that they're much better than starting at the back of the grid. So it is going to be a very interesting race. We have okay, wicked, yeah, that's great, good idea. We've got Stoner now coming round, so he's our first place, and we've got a mixed bag for this starting grid. We've got Stoner in the Haas, Bass in the Ferrari, Gamble in the McLaren, Maikeb in the Mercedes, and Phenomena in the Sauber. So those top 5 drivers. Still, we've got Slim in the Williams, so it is a really mixed bag. Buddha 7th, John for Haas 8th, Martin for Toro Rosso just coming around now, Elfrans Force India, Angernicki Force India, Peter F1 for Williams, Portma for Mercedes, and then lastly Savage and Slacky. So here we are now, F1 tonight, 2017, Season 3, Hungaroring. This is going to be a race of races. Here we are now, and they are off. So here we come now. They're going to be looking to make the most of it. It's coming to turn 1. We can see that, oh my God, Force India, fantastic. Angernicki's taken first place. Oh, absolutely amazing. Stoner's now in 2nd, and Elfrans is in 3rd. Oh my goodness, what happened there? This is unbelievable. We've got Bass for Ferrari in 4th place. We can see Maikeb and Gamble fighting in the background there. But this is absolutely unbelievable. What a start that those Force Indias had. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Now this is really going to mix things up. We didn't see these guys set the fastest qualifying times, but clearly they had the edge on that start. Absolutely unbelievable. Let's actually have a quick look and see how many places they've jumped up. That is 10 place jump for Angernicki and a 7 place jump for Elfrans. So really not too sure what happened on there. Absolutely unbelievable. And they are running running super soft, so that really has mixed it up. Now Stoner is looking to immediately make a move on the Force India as they're coming out of turn 14 there. He's on start finish straight. He hasn't got the DRS. Stoner's just set the fastest lap at 128.6. So he's going to be looking to take this Force India. Oh, Oh, can he do it? Can he do it? Is he going to make it stick? Yes, he does. So Stoner takes the Force India there of Anganiki for first place. Baz is still riding, well, just over a second behind the Force India. So that's quite interesting. So Slacky and Martain into the pit. So not too sure what happened there. Was there some sort of collision possibly between them? No, we've seen Slacky come into the pit and he's come out again. So where's Savage? Savage has moved up to 8th place. But the unforeseen circumstance at the start of this race is Force India. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so Anganiki, he's maintaining that 2nd place for now. Bass is in 3rd place. Maikeb in the Mercedes has just taken, looks like, Gamble for 4th place. Gamble is in 5th. Slim Shaney's in 6th. John is back in 7th, so he's only moved up 1 place. He's got Savage looking to make the move on him into turn 13. Oh, he's going a bit wide there. Let's watch. Let's see what happens here, because Savage is certainly looking to. Stoner's just set the fastest time with 1:23. No, not making a move. So Savage there. Phenomenon is dropped down to 9th place. So I think there was a start issue. I think there was an issue on the start, and I think it might have been roundabout sort of Phenomenon. Then we have Portma, 10, Buddha, 11. So we're just going to go here with Mike Slim Shamey, because he's 0.6 of a second off. Oh, and he's got Gamble right up his gearbox there. So you can see Stoner starting to pull up a bit of a lead between himself and Anganiki. It's 1.5 seconds. Bass, I'm not too sure what's happening here. He's 1.6 seconds behind, but he is running on the softs. But still. We've got Maikeb, 2.3 seconds behind them. Then we've got Slim, he's only 0.5 second behind the Mercedes there. Then we've got Gamble, who's only 0.6 of a second behind the Williams. And John, so normal to see round about this midfield. So, Gamble made a bit of a mistake there, and we can see that the McLarens are really trying to force their way through here. So, as per normal, this midfield always gives us some really close racing. And you can see the 5 cars there are all more or less looking at each other's gearbox. So this is going to prove very interesting. So everyone's through turn 1. They're okay through turn 1. Turn 2 now. And here they come down that hill now. Oh, this is going to be interesting now as we come up to turn 4. And there, that McLaren, Gamble, is just glued to the back of that Williams. Absolutely glued to the back of that Williams. Let's see what they can do here through the chicane. Oh, and we can see there, looks like John slightly coming off track there. Let's get back with Slim. He's still homing in on that Mercedes. And yes, Gamble's looking to make the move on him. He is really looking to make that move. He is not looking to stay there very long. Let's see if he can push him in this turn 13 now. We do have DRS active now, so this is certainly going to make it interesting on this start-finish straight and out of turn 1 as well, because remember, we've got 2 DRS points. So they're in the first DRS point now. Remember, they all have DRS. Slim has DRS because he's within half a second of Maikeb. Oh, and Slim has hit the back of the Mercedes there. He spun it out, giving Gamble the chance to move ahead of him there. Oh, dearie me. And as expected, we got a little bit of carnage going on here as they're coming down out of turn 3 and they're hitting side by side, and Slim and Gamble, oh my goodness. This is unbelievable. And Slim's gone off the track there. Gavin said, now we've got John coming through. John's come through as well. He's just clipped the Williams there, nearly spun him out. Wasn't his fault, he was taking the line there. So Slim's now dropped back into 7th place. It's given John the opportunity, Savage and Gamble all to come through. Mike Ebb's the one that's probably better off there because he's managed to get 3 seconds ahead. Phenomenon's now looking to make the move on the Williams and pushes himself through there. Oh, this is really a fight. This is unbelievable. There is nothing being given on this race, I'll tell you that now. These guys are fighting and fighting hard. So poor Slim there really didn't come off too well. He's going into the pits. He's got damage. Yes, oh dear. And he's crashed as he's going into the pits. He's got damage. Definitely front wing damage. So Buddha's just made the move on Anganiki. Looks like on the start finish straight, obviously with the DRS. They're coming out of turn 1 now. So Anganiki will have, or yes, he should have, yes, he has DRS there. So this really has really mixed it up there now. So only 4/10 of a second now, and Slacky just set the fastest time with a 1:23. Now Bass has obviously moved ahead now, so Bass is now, but he's still 6 seconds behind Stoner. He is on the softs. I think he's looking to play the longer game on this one. We've got Mike Evans in 3rd place. He's 3 seconds behind Bass. We've still got a close fight in hand between Gamble and Savage. So let's go back up to these guys. So we're riding with Gamble in the McLaren now. His teammate Savage is very close behind him. Gamble is looking to try and get a move on Mike Evans and the Mercedes. They're on the start finish straight. They all have DRS. Don't think Gamble's got close enough to try and make a move. He's certainly going to be pushing it though. And we can see his teammate Savage slightly dropping off there now. Gap's 1.2 seconds. Oh, and the Williams neg nearly going into the back of Anganiki. So Peter nearly going into the back of Anganiki on turn 2 there. Anganiki's pushing quite hard on Buddha's, 0.4 of a second between them. So certainly hard fighting going on there. Let's quickly go up to Gamble because he's now 0.2 of a second off the gearbox of that Mercedes ahead of him there. So this is going to prove interesting. We've got DRS enabled as soon as they come onto that start finish straight. 0.3 of a second. I mean, he couldn't be closer if he tried. If he got any closer, he'd be jumping in the cockpit with him. Okay, so we're coming out of turn 14 now. He's got the DRS. Can he do anything with it? Mike is looking to protect his line. Oh, and he's looking to make a move. He's taken the inside there. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Yes, he does. No. Yes, he does. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I thought he'd lost it out of turn 1. Mike Evans actually come back on him. But that was a great little move there on the DRS zone and start finish straight. Tricked Mike Evans into thinking that he was going one way and then took the inside. So great little job there from Gamble. That now pushes him up at 3rd place, and he's going to be looking to chase down Bass. Remember, Bass is on the softs. Gamble and Stoner are on the super soft. So that was a great move there now. So Mike Evans now is going to be coming under pressure from Savage. Oh, somebody's just sliding off there. So here we are now. Savage closing in on Mike Ebb as his teammate. Gamble's closing down that gap now to Bass. He's knocked about 0.6 of a second off that in the first lap once he got past Mike Ebb. So let's have a look, see in the DRS zone. Mike Ebb going defensive, but to be fair, I don't think Savage is close enough to make any move on him. Let's quickly go back here. Anganiki dropping a little bit further now, back behind Buddha. So we've got Savage 5/10 of a second off the back of Maikeb here. So this is where it's going to be. Maikeb is still zoning in. He's now pulled up a half a second behind Gamble, so he's not giving up. Gamble's closing that gap, so Gamble has obviously sped up, but Maikeb has sped up to match him as well. And Savage is still looking to try and see if he can make the move on that Mercedes. Remember, Maikeb is running on the softs, as Savage is as well, so they're really doing very well. Oh, and Gamble's just gone off the track there. Oh, and he's going on again. He's got dirty tyres. Oh, dearie me. Now, is this going to give Maikeb the chance to take back the position? Let's have a look. He's taking it easy. So let's have a look here. But Gamble's managed to maintain that. Let's see what happens when they come onto the DRS zone. And Maikeb's making the move. Oh, and he's got off. He's got off. Maikeb, Savage has taken as well. So he made that error at the back of the track there. Now Savage is looking to make the move into turn one. Is he going to make it stick? Is he going to make it stick? Oh my god, this is unbelievable. Now we've got Gamble down the back of the Maikeb. This is unbelievable. This is really hard driving and hard fighting here from these guys. So Savage takes full advantage of his teammate's error there, and also Maikeb's as well, and pulls back into third place. So great result there. Still fighting though. Maikeb's still there. And we can see these guys, there's nothing between them. There really is nothing between these guys at this moment in time. 5/10, 6/10, 5/10. And Stoner is really pulling out that lead now. 13.2 seconds ahead of second place Bass. But we are on lap 11, so he is on the super softs. He has been pushing them hard, so I'd expect him to be coming in probably in the next 5 or 6 laps. So he needs to open up that gap. Now, with the pit stop here, I think if he goes for a 20-second gap, that would be ideal, but I think he'll probably get away with 15 seconds. So we can see these guys here really hard fighting. Savage isn't really pulling away. Maikeb is staying up with him, and Gamble's right up the gearbox of Maikeb as well. So there's been some really great fighting between these guys. Just see Baz going around turn 4 there ahead. So this really... Oh, look at this. Oh, slowing right down there for turn 6 and 7. Okay, so this is going to start getting interesting now. We're on lap 11. Stoner is our current race leader for Haas. He's got a 13.5 second gap lead on second place Bass. Now, he's running on the super soft, so chances are, the way he's been pushing these tyres, that he's probably going to be looking to lap somewhere between, 17. So we'll go between 15 and 20. So he's got about another 5 laps to go on his tyres. Bass is on the soft tyres, which obviously gives him a longer stint. So although he's 13 seconds behind, he does have the possibility of pulling out first place. Now, pit stop here, I don't know how long the pit stop is, but I would suspect that we're probably looking at around about a 15, 18 second, possibly, pit stop. So you think, well, my colleague here is saying more, so we could be looking at 20 seconds. So unless Stoner is looking to really build that gap, and he is improving on that, he's probably improving about half a second a lap over Bass, he does have the window to open up that gap sufficiently to actually be able to pit and still come out ahead of the Ferrari. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's see what happens with that. We're still watching the fight here. It's eased off a little bit. We've still got Gamble though, very close up behind Maikeb. And again, Gamble is running on the super softs, as opposed to Mike Evans Savage, who are on the soft. So he does have that extra traction, but also he's going to need to pit before those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. So even if he does take the place, he's still going to have to pit before them. We've got John in 6th place. He's on the super softs as well. He's got Phenomenon behind him in 7th place. Great show there from Phenomenon. 3-second time penalty. That's our first time penalty, I think, for the race for Slim Shamey. So that's undoubtedly for exceeding track limits. And John's coming into the pits. Phenomenon is now going to be taking 6th place. Then we've got Portmer, who's currently in 8th place for Mercedes. Buddha is in 9th place for Renault. Anganiki, after that fantastic start, has dropped down to 10th place. Elfrins, his teammate, also amazing start, dropped down to 11th place now. Slacky for Renault has managed to pull himself up so far to 12th place. And as I said, although he was starting at the back, this is a very, very difficult track to overtake on. So I'm sure. So we've got Stoner here and Martin in the Toro Rosso. Even though they're out of position, Martin is currently in 14th place. He's looking to give the Haas there a little bit of a show. So let's have a look how Stoner's doing. Let's see how that gap's looking now. Still 14.5 seconds, so it's pretty much fixed. So Slacky, 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits there. So we're currently riding with our race leader, Stoner. He's 14.5 seconds ahead of Bass in Ferrari. He's currently in 2nd place. Savage in the McLaren is just over 3 seconds behind 2nd place Bass. He's got Maikeb in the Mercedes behind him. And behind Maikeb, more or less looking at the gearbox and possibly tapping Maikeb on the back of the helmet there to move aside is Gamble. Then we've got Phenomenon. Great show from Phenomenon there. He's currently in 6th place. Great show from Portmer, 7th. Then we have Buddha for Renault in 8th. Anganiki for Force India is in 9th. John for Haas is currently in 10th. Slacky is 11th for Renault. Elfrins is 12th, and Elfrins just come into pit and he's putting the softs on. Okay, that's interesting. So Elfrin pitting lap 14 from the super softs onto the softs. Then we've got Martin in the Toro Rosso. He's currently on the mediums, so that would suggest to me that Martin is definitely looking at the long game. He is looking to go as far into this race as he possibly can, so that's an interesting strategy, and let's see how that actually pays off for him. Then we've got Peter coming in 15th place at the moment on the super softs. So let's have a quick look, see who's actually stopped. So basically from 10 to 15 have all stopped and done some tyre changes there. So that's interesting. We've now got 15, and it's starting to drop off now. So Bassie's starting to close in a little bit on that lead. And we're on lap 15, so Stoner's going to be looking to come in pretty soon. That is then going to obviously release Bass and Savage. There's Anganiki in the Force India there, currently in 9th place, pretty much on his own. Closest we have at the moment is Gamble. So Gamble's eased off a little bit. But again, as I said, he doesn't really want to push it too hard because he's going to have to be pitting before these guys that are ahead of him anyway. So it's going to be interesting to see when Stoner comes in. Oh, Bass slightly going off. Oh, dearie me. And that was Savage. Was that Savage? No, it's Maikeb. Went right off track there. So Savage. Yeah, that was John in the Haas that I saw going off the track there. It was behind Stoner. So 3-second time penalty for John in the Haas. So Bass just coming around the start-finish straight now, as Stoner's coming out of turn 1. Okay, this is now going to start getting interesting. This is where strategy now will come into play. So as I said, we've got Stoner, he's on the super softs. He's going to be looking to pit pretty soon. Bass, who's on the softs, he's about 15 seconds behind him, so he's still got a while to go. He's got Savage still keeping up with him. He's closing that gap down. I mean, that gap was at 3.5 seconds, so he's closed it down by about 9/10 of a second. And he's riding on the softs as well, as is Mikev in the Mercedes. So I would say that we're going to be looking to see... Ooh, this is going to be interesting. I think Stoner's... I would say Stoner... When Stoner pits, I think he's going to be coming out somewhere between Savage and Mikev, which is going to be interesting, especially as they're coming down into turn 1. Let's have a look. I don't know. I'm being told here that it might be lap 25, 20 to 25 before he pits, but I get the feeling that he's going to be looking to pit a lot sooner than that. Normally when I call it, I'm always wrong, but we will see what happens. But I don't know. I think he's starting to lose a bit of that grip and security that he's had. And let's just watch in turn 4. No, he's taken that turn pretty damn fast. I think here's a possibility that my colleague could well be on the right lines there. So it could be that Stoner, although he has been pushing, he's looking after. You can see as he's going through, he's easing it off through those corners. So he's looking to keep those tyres for as long as he possibly can. He has been in the lead for a while, so he has been able to dominate the line. So let's see. We will see. Coming round turn 13 now. And he's coming in. He's coming in. Okay, so Stoner is now in. Bass is just coming round turn 13 now. Coming round turn 14. So Bass is going to take first place from Stoner. No, he's coming out now. So as I thought, he's going to come out between Savage and Mikev. Yeah, he's come out between Stoner, between Savage and Mikev. So Savage managed to get through as well. So we were looking at, let's have a look, 6:50. So we're actually looking at around about 21-22 second pit stop. So that's the gap that. So Bass is now. So Bass has now moved into first place. Savage is still about those 3 seconds roughly behind him. Stoner is now on the super softs again, so he's gone for 2 stints on the super soft, and he's going to be looking to close down on Savage within the next half a lap. He's already 7/10 behind him. Remember, we're coming up to the 2 DRS points on the start throw. You've got the start DRS point, start finish straight, and then we've got the DRS point after turn 1. And he's certainly within DRS detection, because the DRS detection zone is as they were coming into turn 14. So he's definitely got DRS. So let's see what he can do with this now. Stoner's on the fresher tyres. He's on the super softs. It all is really down to how Savage defends his line. And he can't. He's taking the inside, Savage, so he's looking to take the inside, see if he can get advantage on there. Oh, and yes! Lovely manoeuvre there by Stoner. He's got the extra grip with those super softs. Takes it on the inside of turn 1. Fantastic overtake. Very, very good indeed. We've got Buddha for Renault now coming into the pits. He was on the super softs. So Stoner's now moved up to second place. He's only 3.5 seconds behind Bass. Remember, he's on a fresh set of super softs. Bass is still on his softs that he started the race with, although he will obviously go longer into the race. And it's every possibility, I think, on those we're probably going to... Oh no! Oh my goodness, and Bass has crashed out! Oh, dearie me. Oh no. He is going to be so annoyed with that. Looks like that was turn 11. So turn 11, he's gone into the barrier. Is he able to get out? No, he isn't able to get out. So Bass is out of the race. He is out. Oh, dearie me. That was turn 11. We've got Slacky coming around now. Bass is still there. I think as he was coming out, I think it was turn 11. Yes, it is. Yeah. Not turn 11. Where are we? Turn 10. Turn 9. As he was coming out, he's basically gone on the rough side. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be great. Yeah. So, unfortunately, Bass is out, but that really does open up the field now. So, Stoner has moved back into first place. He's on the Super Softs. He's got his teammate... sorry, not his teammate. He's got the McLaren Savage behind him with his Mercedes in third place, and his teammate Gamble for Savage is in fourth place. So this really has opened it up now. Now Gamble is on the softs as well. He's only 2.5 seconds behind Mykeb, who's on the... Sorry. Gamble is on the Super Softs. Mykeb's on the softs. Just see if we see it. Yeah. I'll submit. So there we have it. So that really has changed the whole complexion of this race now. So I think everybody has more or less pitted. Let's have a quick look. Okay. So Martin's keeping with the medium. He's gone on to lap 21. But this is the interesting thing. We've got Stoner who's in first place. He's already pitted. He's on the Super Softs. But in second place we have Savage, who's just making a move there on a Williams. Second place we have Savage. Who's out? Phenomenon is out. Oh my god, what happened? And Phenomenon has crashed into the barrier. Looks like that was turn 3. Yeah, I think that was turn 3. So Phenomenon has crashed out on turn 3. Oh, that's so unfortunate. He was doing so well there as well. So that's really unfortunate. Shame to see that. He did some great qualification, was really doing well during the race. Obviously just pushed it that little bit too hard. So unfortunately, Phenomenon for Sauber is DNF. So interesting past couple of laps. So as I was saying, we've got Stoner who's already pitted. He's on the Super Softs. Behind him we've got Mykeb in the Mercedes on the softs, but he hasn't pitted as yet. Then we've got Portmer behind him on the softs as well. He hasn't pitted as yet. So we've got both Mercedes there, second and third, but they haven't pitted. We've got Angernicki fourth for Force India. He also hasn't pitted. And we've got John F1, who I believe has also not pitted. Oh, he has. So John has pitted. So Mykeb, Portmer and Angernicki are going to be having to come in fairly soon. If Portmer comes in first, he's likely to come out probably behind Slacky, which then would release John to move up as well. So we've still got interesting moves to happen when it comes to these pit stops, and we've got Mykeb is now pitting. Just watching Savage on John here. And he's really up close. He's only 0.4 of a second behind John. Savage has the advantage, obviously, that he is running with the super softs. So let's see them. He's got the DRS on the start-finish straight. Oh dear. Defending there. He's taken the inside line. And, oh no, dearie me. What is going on? We had, oh my God. We had Portmer coming out. As I said, Portmer was going to be coming out roundabout with Savage, which he did. But unfortunately, Savage was having the fight with John, so that nearly ended in tears there. So that was very close and interesting there. So I think we might see a penalty though, unfortunately for John, because he did. I don't know. Can he cross into the pit line? Can he cross over the white line on the start-finish straight? Or is it only when you're coming out of the pit? Yeah, so John was certainly within his... This is close. So we're riding with Savage at the moment. He's really pushing it. He's got John right up his gearbox here. So this is really interesting. Anganicki's pushing as well, but he's going to need to pit. So he's happy. He's in third place. Oh dearie me, what's going on the back here? So there we have Savage. There John. And John makes the... No, and John goes off on turn one. Mike Hebb moves ahead of him, so he doesn't make it stick. So he's really not having a great race. So Mike Hebb takes 5th place. Savage is still in 4th, but he's chasing down Anganicki. Anganicki is only 0.4 of a second behind Portmer in the Mercedes. Now remember that both these guys have not pitted. So this is really interesting. And we've got Savage there. Anganicki goes off turn 6 and 7. Savage takes the move on him. So Savage takes Anganicki through 6 and 7. 3-second time penalty for Gamble there. So we've got Anganicki here, and we've got Mike Hebb who's looking to make Michael's looking to make the move on Anganicki now. He's only 0.3 of a second behind him. So remember, round 13, but we're coming up to the DRS of 14 now. Mike Hebb's on the fresher tyres, and he's on the super softs. What's he going to do? And then we've got ahead of him. We've got Savage making the move on Portmer. And Savage makes the move on Portmer. And Mike Hebb makes the move on Anganicki. So everybody's overtaking. As I said, turn 1, that's the overtaking opportunity. And everybody's certainly taking that opportunity. So Stoner is now 36 seconds ahead of 2nd place Savage, so he is safe within his pit window there. He has no problem at all. So we've got Savage is currently in 2nd place in the McLaren. He's riding on the super softs. Behind him is Portmer on the softs, who I'm pretty sure hasn't actually stopped as yet. No, he hasn't. So Portmer is in 3rd place, but he's on the softs and he hasn't pitted as yet. His teammate Mike Hebb is in 4th place, just behind him. Don't push it, boys, because if we see these Mercedes go out, that's really going to mix it up. Then behind them we've got Anganicki, and Anganicki's having the race of his life here. I think he's doing amazingly well, 5th place. So he's really not giving up. But again, I don't think Anganicki has stopped. No, he hasn't. So Anganicki hasn't stopped as yet. So those tyres now, we're on lap 26. So fastest lap now just set by Savage, 121.55. So now John has DRS on Anganicki. Let's watch John with Anganicki, because I think that's going to be where the next interesting one's going to come up. Oh, John just isn't getting that turn. He just isn't getting that turn. I don't think he's happy with that. And watching him, I don't think he's too happy with his setup. think John's having issues here because he doesn't seem to be taking the best of lines sometimes through here. I think I would hazard a guess that John has probably got his downforce fairly low for this race. So we've got Slim there in the Williams in 10th. Let's run through our races at the moment. So Bass, Ferrari, DNF, Phenomena, Sauber, DNF. Peter F1 is currently in 13th place. Then we have Martin BMW in the Toro Rosso. Oh, we just had Portma DNF. Oh no. So Portma pushing it as much as he could. Unfortunately, pushed it that little bit too hard. And he's crashed out. Oh no, that is really disappointing. So Portma crashes out. Not too sure where that is. So Phenomenon. That was unlucky. You were having a really great race there. You did fantastic in the qualification. You were sticking in there in that midfield during the race. What happened? Well, that was a great show, Phenomenon. Real shame that that little mistake there, unfortunately, when you're trying to change your settings, led to you going off. But great race, mate. You did really well. You should be proud. Yeah, and that's been pointed out by my co-commentator, helper this evening, Zwoof. Phenomenon runs with all assists off, so that really does make it that extra bit more challenging, and also shows you know, his quality as an esports driver as well, that he can do that in this level of racing. So great show from him, and shame that you had that issue occur there. So let's quickly go back to where we are now. Angernicki still hasn't pitted, so see you, Phenomenon. Thank you very much. That was great. So Angernicki is in 4th place for Force India, but he still has not pitted, and we are on lap 29. And we've got John is just right up the gearbox here. I mean, there is nothing. You can put a cigarette paper between these two guys at this moment in time. So this is really going to be interesting. Let's see what happens in turn 4. We've got Gamble as well, right up the behind John as well. So John is looking to try and make that move on Angernicki, but Angernicki is holding his position, so he really is doing a great job. As I say, he still has to pit, so that's going to be the issue for him, is when he pits. And it looks like if he were to pit now, he'd probably come out just breaking up the Renaults between Buddha and Slacky. So let's see what happens. But he's certainly putting in a great race here. Our race leader, Stoner, is got a 32-second gap, so he's looking pretty safe. Savage is in 2nd place. He's got a second... Yep, Savage is there. Let's go with Anganicki. Anganicki's still staying out there. So great job there. Anganicki is just landing with the DRS zone now. So let's see what happens as they're coming down into turn 1. We've got Gamble looking to make the move on John, and Gamble makes the move on John, but does he make it stick? Yo, he doesn't. So Gamble looks to drive down the inside on turn 1, try and take the place from John, doesn't make it stick. Nearly takes himself out, I think, there as well. So Gamble's really... Yeah. So that was very close indeed. That could have been a nasty incident there, but everything was averted. They got through okay. But Anganicki still maintaining this 4th place. Then we've got John closely behind him, and then Gamble. So this is really where it's going to get interesting now. Because it could be said that obviously Anganicki's on the lap 31 now. He's still on the same tyres he started this race with, so he's going to have to be coming in fairly soon. And Gamble's backed off now. He's backed off a little bit. He's brought the gap to 9/10 of a second. Anganicki's still staying out. And we've got Elfrance, 3-second time penalty. That's undoubtedly for exceeding track limits there. Here comes John now. Looking to make the move on turn 1. Oh, can he make it stick? He does. So John makes the move on Anganicki there. Gamble is now behind. So Gamble's going to be looking to make the move pretty soon as well. But it really is. It really does show... No matter what these guys do, it's really turn 1 that is the overtaking opportunity, and that's where we've seen most all of the... Oh dear! He's just gone off on turn 4, but he manages to keep it back. But I think Gamble's got the legs on him on turn 6 and 7. Let's have a look. I think, oh no! And they've collided as they've gone into turn 6 and 7 there. So they've touched. There is definite damage. But the question is, I mean, okay, Anganicki's got to come in anyway, but has Gamble got damage that he's going to need to come in on? Just trying to see if I can see that front wing. I don't think he has. So I think there may have been side wing. Yeah. So let's have a look. And Anganicki's still staying out. He is not giving up. This guy is really going for it, but is he pushing it that bit too far? He's got DRS on Gamble. Let's have a look here. Let's see what they're doing. Gamble goes wide. Here comes Nicky through now into turn 2. So Nicky takes the place back. So Anganicki back up. Well, he was in 4th. He's now back up to 5th place because obviously what happened was they took the move there when John made the move. Yeah. So John is in 4th place in the Haas. Mike Ebb is in 3rd place in the Mercedes. Savage in the McLaren is still in 2nd place. And Stoner's just out ahead there. He's loving this. 31-second gap. Savage has closed the gap down slightly, but only by a couple of seconds. We've got a 3-second time penalty there for Buddha in the Renault. So we're on lap 33 of 70. We're about halfway through the race, and well, it's been an amazing race. We saw an absolutely incredible start from the Force Indias, and I think there may have been an issue further down the grid with the start, but Anganicki and where are we? His teammate Elfrance, Anganicki and Elfrance making up 10 places and 7 places in the first lap. They moved up to 1st and 3rd places, so that was absolutely amazing to see. Once it all settled down, they obviously moved a bit further back. We then saw that the Hasses were starting to push, and the McLarens. We've got Slacky looking to make the move now. Slacky starting to approach in on Gamble in 6th place. So yeah, so we saw that the Mercedes and the McLarens came in. Then we had the Ferrari of Bass. Well, firstly we had the Mercedes of Portma crash out. Then we had the the Ferrari of Bass crash out. Then we had Phenomena in the Sauber, who's doing a great race there in midfield. And we're watching Slacky now as he's coming into the back there. He's really looking to make the move, but as I said, you cannot overtake. He's so difficult, and he's made damage to front wing there of Slacky. He's gone into the back of Gamble, and he is making the move on him, but he's going to need to come in because he's got damage on that front wing. Gamble's looking to try and make the move back on him. Yeah, and Slacky's coming in. So Slacky coming in, he's got front wing damage, you can see as he's coming in there. So he looked to make the move on Gamble, unfortunately went into the back of him, front wing damage, had to come in himself. Anganicki, lap 34, on a set of softs, which he started this race with, still has not come in. So this really is interesting. Okay, so Anganicki there is certainly getting the most out of those tyres, that's for sure. But he is in 5th place, so he's not doing too bad there at all. So let's quickly run through our drivers. So Stoner's in 1st place. He's currently 28 seconds ahead of Savage, so that gap has closed down considerably. It's a 4 seconds that Savage has taken out of that lead, so that would suggest to me that Stoner is going to be looking to come in and change those tyres very soon. Savage is in 2nd place. Maikeb for Mercedes is in 3rd place. John for Haas has moved up to 4th place. Anganicki for Force India is in 5th place. Great job from him. Gamble for McLaren 6th. Buddha for Renault 7th. Slim Shamy for Williams is 8th. Slacky for Renault is 9th. Elfrance for Force India is 10th. Martin Toro Rosso is 11th, and Peter F1 for Williams is coming up last there. Let's have a look how Stoner's doing. He's still staying out there. I would suggest that he's going to be coming in. Savage, 3-second time penalty for exceeding time track limits. So Savage is definitely pushing, trying to bite in to that lead. Now, as I said earlier, I was looking at probably about a 24-25 second pit window gap. Now, the interesting thing here is that Savage is really starting to bite into that lead of Stoner's now, and he's taken 4 seconds out of him probably in the last 2 or 3 laps. So that said, Stoner is going to have to be looking to pit, and he has. As I thought, Stoner is pitted. He's going onto the soft, so he's looking to go to the end of the race. So Stoner's now coming out of the pits. Savage is just coming round into the start-finish straight, so Stoner will definitely come out ahead of him. And let's have a look what that gap is. So that gap is 7 seconds. So he was 25 seconds. So it was actually about a 19-second pit stop. So that was a little bit faster than I expected. So 19 seconds. 19 to 20 seconds is the pit stop window we're looking for. So Stoner has come out on the softs in 1st place, and he's looking to go to the end of this race now, clearly on those tyres. It all comes down to Savage now. Savage has pitted, I think he pitted quite early, so he's on lap 36, and I think we're starting to see a little bit of wear and certainly loss of traction from Savage. Let's keep an eye on him. Savage does have a pretty loose setup anyway. He doesn't go for a heavy downforce, so he's pretty loose on his tyre, on his setup anyway. So he does tend to slide. Yep, so Savage just come through these 2 guys here. Just watching some of the back markers now. We've got Martin, 1.9 seconds behind Elfrance, just ahead of him there. We've got the McLaren in between them. So I think that's the McLaren of Savage. Yes, it is. So Savage is going to be looking to make the move. Yep. So Savage 6 seconds behind our race leader now, Stoner. So not too much in it at all. Mike Ebb is maintaining 3rd place in the Mercedes. But now these guys are going to be looking to start pit. Savage, I think, is going to be looking to pit pretty soon. So Savage pits. He's going to be coming out in 4th place behind Mikeb. Oh, he's going to get points. Oh dear, what was that? That's the Williams there, I think. Yep. No, it's not. Is it Slim? Yeah, it's Slim. So Slim overtaking their back marker by Mikeb. Slacky just set the fastest time, 1:21. Wow. So Mikeb there. John, let's have a look at Stoner. He's still out there. Savage is still out there. So we're seeing this all a bit mixed up because obviously the lead drivers are going through the field now. So we're seeing a lot of mix up in the field. People having to move across, and this is when it starts to get a little bit tricky as well. So Anganiki still, I don't believe he's pitted yet. No, he hasn't. So Anganiki still on this set of softs, hasn't pitted yet. And he's on lap 38, so well done Anganiki. If he does pit, he would come out behind. Well, actually, no, he would come out in 6th place because he's got Buddha behind him. So he would come out in 6th place. So, Anga, if you can hear me, pit now. Don't blow it. Okay, so John is in 4th place of the Haas. Mike in 3rd place, Mercedes. Savage in 2nd place. Stoner still in 1st. And here comes Savage into the start-finish straight. Stoner's coming into the first corner there. So it's quite close. Where's John? Anganiki now coming around the back. Let's see if he pits now. Lap 39. And he's still not pitting. He's going on to lap 40. So Anganiki's still staying out. So let's have a little bit of a fight here. We've got Bar France under pressure from Martin in the Toro Rosso. Let's see what he can do. Martin's on the mediums, remember. And Elfriend's on the soft, so he's got that little bit extra grip. So this is close. I think that Force India's got a little bit more download. So Martin's got the DRS. Elfriend's doesn't. So DRS open there. They're coming down to turn 1. Which way is he going to go? Which way is he going to go? He's going to take the inside. He's going to take the inside. Does he make it stick? Oh, dearie me. He just had it. Let's see him look in turn 2 because he's going for turn 2. This is where it's going to count. Oh, and he goes off. Elfriend's fair play. Elfriend's really worked it very well there. Defended his position. Good fight there. Good clean fight. And unfortunately, Martin just couldn't make it stick. So he's now dropped just over a second behind Elfriend. So he's going to be looking to make the move with him probably on turn 1. But he needs to get a lot closer. Because if he wants to take advantage of that DRS, he definitely needs to get closer on this. So let's have a look now. They're coming around turn 13. Don't know if he's going to have enough of the gap there. No, he's out of DRS, so that gives Elfrans now the opportunity to start pulling away. Let's have a look at Anganiki. Anganiki still in 5th place, 3 seconds behind John in 4th there. He's done 41 laps now on this set of softs. So, is he going to come in yet? If he does come in, he's going to come out in 6th place, and he's staying out. So 3-second time penalty there for Slim Shady. Okay, I am just amazed by Anganiki at this moment in time. We're on lap 41, and he's still on the same set of softs. He's in 5th place. So let's have a look here. If we go and have a look at his tyres, you can see here, and I'm being explained to my colleague here, if you look at the outside of the tyres, they're black. If you start looking on the inside of the tyres, they're more of a grey. Oh, hang on a second. Am I seeing rain? Yes, I am. We're starting to see rain. Oh, yes. This is really going to mix it up now. Now, this is a great opportunity for Anganiki. Anganiki, pit now and go on to your intermediates. Because we're starting to see rain come down, but is it heavy enough? Yep. Yep, so Slacky 3-second time penalty there. And Slim staying out. I don't think this rain is heavy enough yet for the intermediates, but it is definitely going to come into play if it continues. So let's see what happened there. Anganiki, I think he may have made the right call, because it's still not wet enough. There is dampness on the track, but it isn't wet enough. The track is still dry. Let's watch him as he comes down to this turn now. So everybody's staying out at this moment in time. So Martin is looking to make the move on Elfrans again. Elfrans has gone into the pits, so Martin takes the place there. Now is Elfrans going to go onto a set of intermediates? Let's have a look. This could be interesting. I think he could be. Where's his teammate? Let's have a look. Anganiki's coming round now. So Elfrans. No, he's going to a set of yellows, so he's going on to a set of softs. Let's watch Anganiki now as he comes around turn 13. And he's still staying out. He's not coming in. He is not coming in. He's on the set of softs and he's on lap 43. Now, Savage is starting to close the gap on Stoner. You can see this rain is definitely starting to come down a little bit more now, but still the track is dry, so it's looking okay. You can see Savage got a lot looser setup there. He hasn't got the same sort of downforce as he slides round. Although, am I starting to see people slip a bit more out there? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's definitely getting more slippery out there, but is it for intermediates though? That's the question. Here comes Anganiki now, 5th place. Yeah, it's all a question. This could make the difference. As so Savage is definitely closing that gap down on Stoner. It's now down to 4.3 seconds. You can just see Stoner going through turn 6 and 7 there as Savage comes behind him. So the question now for Stoner is, does he stay out or does he go onto a set of intermediates? Savage is closing that gap. Oh, it's just opened up a little bit, but it's definitely closing it down. No, everybody's staying out. So they're all staying out. They're all happy at this moment in time. Mykeb there in third place. John for Haas is in fourth. So Haas potentially here looking to take away some good points with first and fourth place as it stands at this moment in time. McLaren, Mercedes also getting some valuable points there. But certainly Force India, Anganiki, I'm not too sure if he's a hero or a fool, only time will tell. But he's coming round now. So, yeah. It looks like this rain is staying. So, that call for intermediates is going to have to be made pretty soon. We're on lap 45 of 70. Anganiki coming around for lap 46, still out on the same set of softs that he started this race with. Really, I have to check that. I have to check that. Stops. Yeah, he hasn't done any stops, no. So this is really quite interesting. Here's John coming down the back there. Mykeb, Savage, just onto the start-finish straight. Let's have a look what the gap now is between him and Stoner. Stoner, I think, has noticed that there was the gap closing in and he opened up a bit more. Yeah, so it's up to 6 seconds again now. The gap between Stoner did close down to about 3.5. It could have been they were going through back markers there, which obviously would have slowed them down, so that could have accounted for Stoner's times. Let's have a look on here now. So let's watch him as he comes through turn 4. Still good traction on the track though. Still the track is looking still okay. So Savage, and the thing is, as soon as one pits, then everyone else will pit. I think everyone's basically waiting to see what everyone else does. Nobody wants to take that risk. I mean, certainly if Stoney were to pit, he would be safe for second place. Savage certainly will have to pit before him because he's on the super softs. So I think actually saying that, yeah, Savage is going to have to pit pretty soon because I think Savage has only done the one stop. Yeah, he has. So Savage has only done one stop. So he's going to have to pit soon. So is he trying to hold out for that pit as to whether to go onto another set of, or whether to go onto a set of softs or a set of intermediates? I think that's what everyone's probably holding out for at this moment in time. So that gap is slightly opening up. It's 0.4 of a second between the last lap, between Savage and Stoner. So this is now nail-biting time, because if we watch the in-car, you can see the rain coming down, but the track is still pretty dry on the racing line. Certainly off the racing line. Let's ride inside in the car with John. You can see off the racing line, yes, dampness there, but on the racing line, it's looking pretty dry. Certainly the traction's looking good, so we could well see them stay out. But as I said, the question is now is, do you go onto another set? I mean, certainly Elfrance for Force India decided, well, no, I'm going to go for softs. We've got Martin in now, so let's see what Martin does. Martin's gone onto a set of softs as well, so he's just pitted. So we're riding with Savage now. Savage 47, he's only pitted the once, so certainly these super softs are getting towards the end of their life, and you can see, so we've got Slacky closing in now on Anganiki. Slacky's riding on the super softs. Elfrance 3-second time penalty, so Slacky's definitely looking to make that move on Anganiki, but Anganiki is very good at defending from what we've seen so far during the course of this race, so he's not going to make it easy. I think what Slacky needs to do is just maintain that gap, wait till he gets to the start finish and he's got the DRS on the start finish and then out of turn 1. Don't risk it now, don't push too hard now unless you... I've seen some damage there. Yeah, definite damage. Yeah, that was damage of Slacky going into the back of Anganicki there. So Anganicki is definitely going to have to pit now. I don't know if he's got damage. I think he's got rear damage. I'm not too sure. But certainly Slacky going into the back there of the Force India, causing front wing damage to himself and almost pushing out. But Anganicki stays out. Oh my God. He's just not... he just doesn't want to come in. Yeah. So Slacky now backed up to his teammate Buddha, who's going to be looking to make a movement in pretty soon. And I think that everyone is pretty much slowing down now. Anganicki keeping in that 5th place. He had a better window to pit and maintain his place, but now that gap has dropped considerably. So 9. He's going to be coming out in 8th place if he pits now. So in my opinion, he should have come in earlier, but then again, look at this weather. You can see the rain coming down, but it's just... oh, this is a really, really tough one to call. What do you do in this situation? Savage is the one that's going to have to call it, really, because Savage is the one that needs to make the difference. Let's have a quick look here on stops. Yeah, because Savage has only done the 1 stop. Mike has done the 2. So... yeah, so let's see what Savage does. Is he going to stay out? Is he going to go in? Go on to the softs? He's staying out. Anganicki staying out. And he's on lap 50. He's done 50 laps on a set of softs. Oh, this is... I've got a riding car with this guy, seriously. 50 laps on a set of softs. Yeah, absolutely. As my colleague says here, it's all about tyre management. And, well, he's certainly doing that. But you can see that the traction is going from these tyres in a major way. So, let's see if I can get some telemetry data on here. So he's really accelerating and coasting through these corners. So Anganicki, 50 laps, I think it's enough. He is going to go drop down to 8th place, but I think caution dictates. And he's coming in finally. Lap 50. He comes in. That is absolutely amazing. Now I'm going to stay with him because I'm just curious to see what tyres he's going to go on to. Is he going to go on to a set of softs? I think he's going to go on to a set of super softs. I agree. Yeah, super softs going on. So super softs going on. Anganicki coming out in 3rd place. Sorry, a 3rd place, in 8th place. So he's lost 3 places there. Yeah, slim shaming the Williams behind him in 9th. But yeah, he's come out in 8th place. And he's on the super softs. So he's 12 seconds behind the Renault of Buddha. Buddha 2 seconds behind his teammate Slacky. He's 4 seconds behind Gamble in 5th place in the McLaren. He's 15 seconds behind John in the Haas, who's currently in 4th place. He's equally 13 seconds behind Maikeb in the Mercedes in 3rd place. But he's 46 seconds behind Savage in the McLaren, who's 2nd place. And Savage is 10 seconds behind our race leader Stoner, who's certainly going to the end of the race on these tyres. Savage is the one that's going to have to pit. He's only pitted the once so far, so he's going to have to pit soon. So Savage pits. He's still going to be coming out in second place, so don't risk it, Savage. Don't be silly now. And he's staying out. Let's hope he doesn't regret that decision. So let's see what's happening now. So this is certainly opened it up. We've got water. Okay, we've got certainly dampness on the track, as you can see here. We've got better rain coming down, but the rain hasn't been sufficient to make the difference sufficiently to the track to warrant the guys going on to the intermediates. So more or less everyone has pitted. We've got Slim Shamy and Buddha pitting. Let's see what they're doing. Yeah, they're all out on the softs. Yeah, they're all out on the softs. So everyone's staying with the dry tyres. Maybe because they don't have them. So we're riding at the moment with Savage, our second place. Oh no, and he's gone off. Oh, he manages to get it back on though. That was on turn 7, I think it was. But that's now given... Tyres have gone. Savage's tyres have gone, definitely. He's going to have to come in now. He's still got a 42-second gap. He's still got a 42-second gap, so he's got time to come in. Don't risk it. Come in. He's coming in, yeah. I think he will go for the super softs again, but I don't know. This is so difficult. I can't. The racing line is still dry, but this rain is coming down. So let's see what happens. Yeah, he's going on to a set of super softs. Okay, so that's really sealing the deal. He's got a 5-second time penalty. Who? Oh, right. Okay, so Savage had a 5-second time penalty. Does still come out in second place. Let's see what the difference, what the gap is now between him and Mikeb. So 10-second gap between second and third now. 43 seconds gap between Savage and Stoner, our race leader. Then we have John in the Haas is in 4th place. Gamble in the McLaren is in 5th. Slacky in the Renault is in 6th. Anganiki in 7th place. And a great show from Anganiki. I mean, 50 laps this guy did on soft tyres. So for that alone, I take my hat off to him, because that is really very good tyre management indeed. So he had a little bit of a shunt from Slacky on lap 50, and that sort of gave him the encouragement, I think, to come in and change tyres and go onto those softs. It is a difficult course. You can see the water is still coming down, but the racing line is dry. So great race there from Anganiki. Buddha for Renault, currently in 8th place. Slim for Williams, 9th. Martin for Toro Rosso is 10th, and we saw Martin challenging earlier on with Elfrans, and he's taken the place there. So he made that move stick. Elfrans is in 11th place in the Force India, and then Peter in the Williams is coming up in 12th place. So we've had Portma, DNF, he was the first in the Mercedes, then Bass in the Ferrari, followed by Phenomenon in the Sauber, and again Phenomenon putting up a fantastic race. And to bear in mind as well that Phenomenon drives without any assists on at all, so he did fantastic qualifying, was doing really well. The reason, unfortunately, went out, loss of concentration. He was concentrating on making an adjustment, lost concentration, went onto the side and spun the car out. So those are our DNFs for this race. So only 3, so not too bad at all. We are on lap 55 of 70, only 15 laps to go now. Race leader Stoner, he's comfortably in the lead. He's got softs that will take him to the end of this race. Now the question now is, how is this rain going to come into play? So far We've been racing for about a good 10 races. 3-second time penalty for John in the Haas. So we've been running for about a good 10 laps at least with this light rain coming down. Everyone's gone in for pits. They haven't gone onto the immediates. They haven't felt the need to do so. They've stayed on the dry tyres. So really it's quite interesting to see what's happening. 3-second time penalty for Nicky there as well. And we're seeing Stoner under pressure here from Gamble, who's actually in 5th place. I don't know if Gamble realises that, or if he's just looking to unlap himself. So he's certainly pushing. Yeah, he's running on the super softs, whereas Stoner is on the softs. Personally, if I was Stoner, I'd say, yeah, okay, go past. Unlap yourself. I can't be bothered to have a fight with you right now. I'm in the lead. So let's see what happens. But as I said, this is the thing that's going to come into play, is whether this rain gets any heavier. And the commentator in me says I would love to see this rain get heavier. So let's keep our fingers crossed. We've only got 14 laps to go. If this rain gets heavier, everybody's going to have to pit, and that certainly is going to mix things up. We're looking at a pit window of around about 18 to 20 seconds, so it would certainly mix things up within the race itself. We haven't seen any safety cars. We have seen DNFs, but no safety cars, so that's obviously kept the race going, which has been fantastic. I think Gamble's pretty much backing off. He's not really going to put the pressure on too much unless Stoner makes a mistake. Stoner's really not going to let him through unless he pushes, so they're pretty much looking safe. But Savage has pitted, as I said. He did need to pit. He has now pitted. John is the one that's going to be looking to pit, and Nicky. Well, Nicky will go through to the end of the race. If he can do 50 laps on a set of softs, I'm sure he can do 20 laps on a set of super softs. So John is the one. John is also on a set of softs, so he'll probably go through to the end of the race. 5-second stop go. Who was that for? So Slacky has a 5-second stop go. Really not the Renault driver's race this evening. Yeah, I think. Yeah, so yeah, it looks like that 5-second stop go was for the collision with the Force India of Nicky, as we were talking about earlier on lap 50. So it was lap 50 that he went into him. So we're riding with Stoner now. Savage is in 2nd place. Is this rain getting heavier? Oh dear, I think this rain is starting to come into play. Let's have a look. We're on lap 57. We've still got 13 laps to go. I'm starting to see spray come up off these tyres, which I haven't seen earlier. So if we're starting to see spray, that means that the track is wet, and we will very likely see people come in. And now I think the first one to take it, if anyone comes in, I think it's going to be Stoner. I think it will be Stoner. If anyone comes in, it's going to be Stoner. And I think this track is definitely getting wetter, which is really great. So here we are. This is really going to mix it up now. Let's have a look at this. Doesn't look too bad on the back of the tracks they're approaching, but let's have a look. So I want to see the spray. I'm definitely seeing spray coming off here, so... But they're still staying out. They're certainly taking it a lot easier, that's for sure. Let's watch this now. Oh! Savage nearly losing it there, and as I said, Savage does run quite a loose setup, so... Oh, and the Williams there, I think, of Peter, or it might have been Slim, happily letting him through there. Let's have a look on this. No, he's not. Those tyres aren't looking too bad. It's just, I think it's just because he has a loose setup and the tyre, he doesn't necessarily always take the racing line, and the track is wet when he's going offline. Slim shame he's retired from the session. Let's have a look on here. Oh dear. Yeah, Slim spun out. So it looks like Slim spun out on the back of the track, probably around about lap 10 or 11. So Slim for Williams. He's put in a good solid race, but unfortunately spins out. So who was that? That was that Anganicki. Oh, Anganicki going out there. It was, I think that was actually turns 6 and 7. Let's have a look on here. So let's run through now. So you see Stoner making the move there on his teammate John, who's in 4th place. So he's just lapped his teammate now. So this track now, does this then give John the chance to run a bit? Well, he doesn't really need to run defensive. Savage is 32 seconds behind him, but John does have Gamble right behind him. There's only 7/10 of a second between them now, so this could get interesting. Let's have a look on here. Oh, we've still got 10 laps to go, so the question is, can they stay out on the dry tyres, where clearly this track is getting far more slippery. This is going to be oh, come on, rain harder. I want to see this mixed up. I want to see people pitting and going to me. Well, Buddha's gone on to intermediates. Okay, that's interesting. He has gone on to intermediates. Let's see. Well, let's go through his lap data here. Okay, Buddha's taken the risk. He's gone for the intermediates. We'll stay with Buddha just to see how it goes. And so far, not very well. He's 20 seconds down on his previous. Has he gone in too early? So let's see how he does. Remember, this is his opening lap, so we can't really judge it too much on this, but because obviously he's had to come out of the pit. So we're pretty safe at the moment. Everyone else is pretty much sitting pretty. So let's stay with the Renault here just to see how these intermediates are working out once he actually gets onto a full lap. Oh, hang on. We've got John. Yeah, Gamble's past John. Oh, it's definitely getting a lot slippery out there. So I think that Buddha's actually made the right call there, which could be interesting. So he could possibly gain. Let's have a look here. He's in 9th place. I don't know if he's going to gain a place if everyone else pits or not. This is going to be interesting because he's 9 seconds behind Martin, so he'll certainly get ahead of Martin. But he'll only take 8th place. He won't take 7th place. Yeah. So let's have a look here now. We've got, so Stoner's staying out there. He's coming into turn 2, so he's on the early part of the track. He's got a 30-second gap, so that gap is definitely closing down. He's still maintaining pretty good traction. So I don't know if he's going to go on to the intermediates. I don't think he is. I think he's happy to stay on those softs. Let's have a look now. Yeah, he's maintaining good traction. Is he going to come in or not? He's got the opportunity to. He's certainly got the window to do it. Oh! Oh, he's got a puncture. John F1 in the Haas gets a puncture. So he's desperately trying to make his way back to the pits now. Stoner is staying on the softs. Savage 3-second time penalty. Oh, and John is struggling now. He's lost places. Just lost 6 to Slacky. Oh, he's going to be gutted getting a puncture. That is nasty. But what's he going to go on to? It's 7 laps to go. How's Buddha done on this intermediates? He's not doing great. So where does this bring out John? Let's have a look. This is going to bring John out probably... Oh, he's going to maintain his place. Yeah, he's going to maintain his place. He's going to a set of super softs. Yeah, he'll keep his 7th place because Martin's a good few seconds behind him. So Buddha 9th place. I don't know if those intermediates are making enough of a difference for him. With our race leader Stoner, because this really is so hard to call, because although we are seeing certainly more spray coming off those tyres, we've only got 7 laps to go, and that racing line is still looking dry enough if you're careful enough to stay on it, although we are seeing it darken up. Let's see. Comes down into turn 1 there. So I think Stoner's happy to stay out on those softs. Yeah, on those softs. Savage equally, I think he's happy to stay out on those super softs. Anger Nicky though, 5th place. Great, it really is a great result for him. I think he's going to be a very, very happy man at the end of this race. He's picking up some valuable points there for Force India. And I think he has done a really great job. We've got Elfrance, 3-second time penalty for his teammate Elfrance. So Elfrance is clearly struggling with regards to these conditions. But, you know, it's not easy. Yeah, definitely. Martin, BMW and the Toro Rosso, great job as well from him. 8th place. So he's doing well. Then we've got John, 7th, Slacky, 6th, Anganicky, 5th, and this guy really, great race from Anganicky. Gamble in the McLaren, 4th. Mykeb in the Mercedes, 3rd, so valuable points for Mercedes, they certainly need them. Savage in the McLaren is 2nd, so if it stays the way it is, which is likely, McLaren will be picking up some good valuable points as well. But that said, I think Haas will still stay ahead of them. Sorry, you were saying? Yeah, let's have a look at this actually. Let's have a look. So yeah, so if we look at Savage, let's have a look at position changes here. This is valuable, worthwhile looking at. Savage, remember, was had a penalty, and started in 14th place. So he's actually moved up 12 places. So great show from Savage. Anganiki though, Force India, 6 places. And Slacky 9 places, because Slacky obviously started in 15th place, so he's moved up 9 places. So great result from all these guys. They've done really well. So we're on lap 65, 5 laps to go. This is F1 2017 season 3 race 11 Hungaroring. And have we seen a race? My God, we have. So this really has been a race for everybody. It's 70 laps, 306 kilometers altogether. Very, very difficult track to overtake on. Predominantly, most of the overtaking that we've seen, and predominantly most of the overtaking that you can do, tends to be on turn 1. We've had some DNFs. We had Portman and Mercedes go out firstly. He was followed by Bass in the Ferrari, who was in the lead. Then Phenomenon in the Sauber, who put up a great show. And then we've just had Slim in the Williams go out a few laps ago. Oh, dearie me. And Gamble nearly coming off the track there out of turn 3. So Buddha's pitted and gone back onto a set of super softs. So clearly those intermediates weren't working out for him. But look at this. I think Gamble's going for the drifting prize for this race, because he is drifted round at about 2 or 3 laps there that I'm watching. So track has dried up, rain has stopped. Al France now. We've got 4 laps to go. Watching Gamble's Mykeb now. So good call from the drivers to stay out on those dry tyres. Renault, Buddha went on to the intermediates just to see how it would go. Unfortunately, wrong call, because the track has actually dried up again, because the rain has actually stopped. So we've got Stoner, our race leader. He's currently 23 seconds ahead of Savage, who we're riding with at the moment in the McLaren. Then we have Mykeb in the Mercedes. He's 41 seconds behind the McLaren. And Savage has set the fastest time, fastest lap, 1:21.1. So Mykeb in 3rd place in the Mercedes. Gamble in the McLaren in 4th place. So as I said, valuable points here for McLaren. I don't know if they're going to be able to take place with some Haas, because that's their competitors there. But it's certainly going to be close, because Stone is obviously going to pick up the full 25 points, on the basis that obviously this is how we see the finish going through as it stands at this moment in time. Anganiki in the Force India. Well, yeah, what can I say? He's put in a great race. 5th place. Started on a set of softs. Started in 14th place. No, 14th place, sorry. Where did he start? Started in 13th place, I think. So, actually, it's not 6 places. So he started in 11th place. Went a full 50 laps on a set of soft tyres. They went on to the super softs. So, yeah, great race from him. Slacky in the Renault. I think a lot of frustration going. Savage just set the fastest lap, 1:20.9. So Slacky, I think, somewhat frustrated at finishing at the back of the grid. Had a few collisions during the race, picked up a few penalty points. I think he's just really wanted to try and get through as swiftly as he could, and hasn't really been his race. So although he's picked up 6th place, he'll certainly be happy with that. I don't think he'll be happy with the overall race. John in the Haas, unfortunately, he's down in 7th place. But again, you know, he's raced well. I think he just hasn't had the brakes necessarily that he was looking for. So he's only moved up 1 place. He was in 8th place to start with. Then we've got Martin in the Toro Rosso. He's put together a great race, 8th place, certainly done well. So I think he's going to be happy with how his race has gone and how he's done. Again, he's only moved up the 1 place. Then we have Elfrans in the Force India. He's moved up one place, did great well. I mean, certainly Alfrens and Anganiki, an amazing start, got into first and third place off the start, so they really had an amazing start. But in the Renault, unfortunately, he's dropped down 3 places, started in 7th, looks like he's going to be finishing in 10th as the way it stands at this moment in time. And Peter F1 did start in 12th, moved up to 11th. Savage now again set the fastest time of 1:20.0. So this certainly has been an interesting race. It's certainly seen a lot of changes, a lot of action. So it has been certainly the beginning, and the first third of the race was absolutely unbelievable. So we're now on the last lap. So let's ride with our race leader, Stoner, as he's on his penultimate lap, lap 69. John, 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits there. So Stoner just about to come on to his last lap of this race, and he's put together a fantastic race. Really did well. Good hard fighting. Certainly called, and did start in first place obviously, but maintained it, came under pressure. 5-second time penalty, stop go. Who was that for? 5-second stop go. El France, 5-second stop go, unfortunately. Yeah, that's for ignoring the... I thought it was, because I just saw obviously Stoner go past. That's for ignoring the blue flag. So obviously let the race leader Stoner pass. So Stoner now on his final lap. So F1 2017, Season 3, Race 11. Hungary, and we've seen a really a great race. Certainly a mixed bag on the start. We've seen some of the smaller teams really make some great racing and great improvements in this race, and doing very well. So Haas going to be picking up some valuable points here, 25 points. I think it's certainly going to make the difference, but again, equally there are competitors in the team competition. McLaren picking up points from both Savage and Gamble, so it's going to be pretty close, I would say, between them. So as we watch Stoner now coming out, last lap, onto the start-finish straight, and our race winner for Haas, Stoner, 25 points. Great race from Stoner. I think he's going to be happy with that. Savage in the McLaren now just coming round to the start finish, comes in second, and he's followed by Maikeb in the Mercedes in third. We still do have penalties to apply, but looking at the time differences between these guys, I don't think we're going to see any time difference between certainly the first 3 drivers and the podium drivers. So great race from them, really superb. We've seen some surprises, we've seen some really big surprises, but great job there. Savage, fantastic, certainly, coming up from 14th, second place. Yeah, really great race from him, so I think he's going to be happy with that. Just watching third place Maikeb now come around the start finish straight, and he's a happy man. So there we have first, second and third. Great result there. So Maikeb third place, Savage second, and Stoner first. So we'll go to the podium. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this evening's race. I know I certainly have, although I wish there had been more rain, I have to say. But great result there for Haas, great result for Stoner, fantastic win, great job there from Savage, from McLaren, and equally from Mercedes as well. Great result for those guys. I'm sure they are very happy indeed, and very happy to pick up those points. So well done. Let's run through our runners and racers. So Stoner for Haas, first place. Savage McLaren, second. Mike Ed for Mercedes, third. Gamble for McLaren, fourth. Nicky for Force India, fifth. Slacky for Renault, sixth. John F1 for Haas, seventh. Eighth, Toro Rosso. 9, Alphonse for Force India. 10, Buddha for Renault. F1, Peter F1 for Williams came 11th place. DNFs, as you know, were Bass. God, I haven't got them written down actually. So Bass, Portner for Mona, and Slim Shamey for Williams. So thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you. Good night, everybody.